Okay. Power Slap, Road to the Title, Season 3, Episode 2 is in the books. Holy shit, man. Holy shit. This was a crazy episode. The first fight was so good that I think it deserved its own breakdown because I have a lot to say on it and I want to make sure I don't leave anything out. Just some broad feedback right off the bat. So this fight was super high level. These kids looked like they were 3 to 4 fights deep in their career. They really did. And to be quite honest, this match was better than basically all of the matches at Power Slap 8 with the exception of a slim few. And also, I hope that people appreciate what we witnessed because this was the best coaching of all time by Austin Turpin. It really was. I'm going to elaborate later as we go, as I break the fight down, because it really progressed throughout the fight. But this was the best coaching I've ever seen. And to be honest, it was some of the worst coaching I've ever seen from Trujillo. And I'll also elaborate on that later as we go. But anyway, so it was Dakota Mcgregor taking on Ivan Hernandez. They were both tall and lanky, just pretty similar to last week's competitors, DeFrank and Josh. Similar, I think they were all within the 6'1" range, and fighting at 155. So that's pretty tall and lanky. And I think that that's just continuing to prove to be an effective build for Power Slap. I'm curious to see if it continues to prove itself effective as we progress throughout the season, but I personally think that it is. Also, so they said that both of them were 6'1". They're definitely wrong about that because if you look at the face-off and even them standing across from each other at the table, like Ivan definitely had at least an inch on him, and that's not including his hair because he has some hair that adds height, but he was definitely at least an inch or two taller than Dakota, but still pretty similar. So we'll start with Dakota. He's a kid from Canada. He gave me Vern Cathy vibes in that when I was looking at him, I had a feeling that he could have some sneaky power because he could definitely give me farm boy vibes, like farm boy strength. And I'm from New Hampshire, so I know all about that. That's a real thing, and I have some friends that have it. I don't have it, but I have friends that have it, and I've definitely witnessed it and felt it before. So I definitely had a feeling that he would have some sneaky power. For Ivan, he looked a little bit skinnier than Dakota. They were both pretty similar, but he looked a little bit skinnier and a little bit taller. And so I just wasn't sure how he would be at taking a strike, but my goodness, I mean, he was super impressive. Ivan's a kid from Vegas. I believe he has some combat sports experience as far as fighting goes. I want to say maybe he fought in street beefs, I think. I could be wrong, but I think so. So I definitely thought that he could be good. It's really just all down to if you can take a slap, because in Power Slap, like it's fighting, but it's not fighting because you're going to get hit. There's just no two ways about it. So in fighting, like you can really roll with punches and protect yourself. So I just wasn't sure how it's going to translate because not all good fighters are good at Power Slap. But anyway, so Ivan won the toss and he was slapping first. And on Ivan's first slap, he knocked Dakota down. It was a really good slap. It was a little bit high on the face. So I think that some of the power was negated by where it was placed. I think that he could have landed it a little bit cleaner, but regardless, it was a great strike and it knocked Dakota down. So I want to praise Turpin because, again, this was some of the best coaching that I've ever seen. He kept telling Dakota to stay on your knees, which was super smart because Dakota, you could tell that he just wanted to stand up. He's fighting natural instincts at all times when he's rocked, trying to play it off and wanting to get to his feet. But Terp reminded him to stay on his knees. And if he doesn't do that, I mean, it was tough to tell exactly how wobbly he was, but if he doesn't stay on his knee, he has a much higher chance of getting the fight stopped. So it was just beautiful to watch. It was beautiful chemistry between Terp and Dakota, and you could honestly feel it. You could see it and you could feel it. So yeah, that was just beautiful to watch. It was a good slap, and it's just a testament to Dakota's chin. But anyway, so Dakota came back on his first slap, and my God, this kid has some power. It was a beautiful strike. Again, both of these kids looked like they've done this before. They look like they're veterans of power slap. I mean, they impressed me more than some of the strikers that I've seen multiple times in power slap. And yeah, just super impressed. But yeah, anyway, so he knocks Ivan down, and I thought that it could be over. I really did think that it could be over. It was an insane buzzer beater recovery by Ivan. They definitely could have stopped it and probably should have stopped it, but I'm glad they gave him a chance. I want to say he got up at like 8 or 9. Like, it was a buzzer beater, man. It was a real buzzer beater, and it was just so impressive. Some people would have probably just quit after that strike, and that was never on his mind. And I mean, and I also want to address, like, so, dude, Trujillo, like, where the hell were you? Where were you, man? Like, this was some of the worst coaching that I've ever seen, and it just kind of frustrates me how nonchalant he is about this. Like, if you go back and watch the footage and really pay attention to what the coaches are saying when both of their fighters got knocked down, it's just, you can barely compare them. Like, it's so night and day. Like, it's honestly, it really is frustrating how nonchalant Trujillo is. And I think that part of it might have to do with the fact that he's going to have to fight these kids. These are his weight class. They're fighting to fight him. So it really does seem like he wanted both of them to lose. Like, especially with how good these kids are. He's looking at them, and like, you could honestly see on his face that he's like, holy shit, man. So yeah, I was not happy with Trujillo's performance as a coach there. So anyway, buzzer beater recovery by Ivan, barely hung on. And so Ivan comes back on his second slap. Holy shit, man. This was what the first slap could have been. Again, I thought that the first slap was very powerful and a good strike, but it was a little high, so it took away some of the force, just because we all know, or I don't even know, I'm not even convinced that everybody knows, but placement over power, man. You can get away with a less powerful strike if it's placed perfectly, and you can have a ridiculously powerful strike not put somebody out because you're off the mark a little bit. So Ivan's second slap was what the first slap should have been, and I think that if he landed the first one as clean as possible and landed the second one how he landed it, like, this fight could have went differently. But he knocks Dakota down, absolutely rocks him, man. Absolutely rocks him. How does Dakota not go out there? This kid's chin is ridiculous. He was literally clenched up, which is never good when you're on the ground. Usually when you're clenched and you can't, like, move for a period of time, it's never good. You very rarely see people come back from that and recover and get to continue fighting, but he was able to. And also, all right, so this is where the coaching, like, on the first slap, the coaching really did play a factor, but this was where Turpin shined as a coach, because, again, Dakota was fighting his natural instincts to get up, and Dakota knows what to do. I'm genuinely think that he knows that he's supposed to stay at a knee and gather before he hops up, but again, the kid just got rocked, dude. He just got rocked. So he's fighting natural instinct, and Terp said, go to a knee, go to a knee, go to a knee, probably 10 times. And it's a good thing that he did, because I feel like it was like the 9th or 10th time that he said it that it actually registered. And if Dakota doesn't go to a knee there and help recover, like, who knows? Like, it was such a massive shot. I could not believe that he was able to recover. it still is a little bit shocking to me. So yeah, he was able to recover, and on Dakota's second slap, I mean, my goodness, man. My goodness. This might have been the best strike I've ever seen. It was super powerful, and I don't even think that if you walked up and literally just were like, okay, put your hand here. You had 5 seconds to put your hand exactly where you wanted to hit. I don't even think that you could put it in a better spot than he did. It was one of the best slaps I've ever seen. And it put Ivan out, and it was so bad that his head actually hit the table on the way down, which is obviously never good. So you could tell that the second he hit him, that the fight was over. And but for Ivan, I mean, that's nothing to hang your head about. Ivan, if you're watching this, like, keep your head up, man. That strike puts half the welterweight division down. Half the welterweight division down. I am not convinced that that strike doesn't put Trujillo out. I think that it probably does, man. I really do. Like, Trujillo's got a crazy chin, so we'll have to see. But I hope he is training, man, because these kids look like absolute killers. Killers. Like, you could see it on Trujillo's face that he's like, holy shit, man, I'm going to have to fight these kids, and this is their first competition. Like, these kids look seasoned. They definitely are watching Power Slap. So it was just super impressive by both guys. And, like, I know we've only seen Dakota once, but just by looking at it, like, who's going to beat this kid? Seriously, who's going to beat this kid? If you can't knock him out, you're fucked. You're absolutely fucked. And he got hit with one of the better shots that I've ever seen by Ivan. I mean, this is a new weight class, so I think that people may have underestimated just how powerful these kids can be. And I think that they are powerful, but I think that the reason that they're doing so well is more because of their accuracy. They're all ridiculously accurate, and they have power, and they're lighter. So I think that you're going to continue to see some very, very impressive knockouts as the season goes on. But it was just an amazing fight. It was amazing to watch. I was very high on Frank last week because, I mean, how can you not be? The guy looked super impressive. It's tough to tell. I think that Dakota might have even looked more impressive. And I get that there's an argument to be made that, like, Dakota got knocked down twice and DeFrank didn't even get knocked down once. But compare those shots. I mean, Ivan got hit. Even the first one that wasn't as good as the second one was way harder than DeFrank got hit. So, again, super high on DeFrank. I would love to see those two fight. I hope they do. But I think that the fact that Dakota got knocked down twice with such big strikes and was able to recover and then find the knockout actually made him look better than had he either struck first and knocked him out on the first strike or not even been knocked down by one and knocked him out on the first one. Like, the combination of showing off your recovery, your chin, and, you know, your grit to pull out the win was honestly more impressive. Not going to get my too ahead of myself, but again, like, who's going to beat this kid, man? Who is going to beat this kid? For Ivan, there's a 0% chance that we don't see him again. Straight up. There's a 0% chance that you don't see Ivan again on a future event, especially in a new division when, you know, they're trying to build their talent pool in their division. There's just no chance we don't see him again. And I think it could be sooner than you think. One thing I do have to critique about Power Slap is I don't think that they're doing a great job of explaining the tournament. First of all, they showed the bracket and there's an odd number of fights. So it's like, how is that even going to work? They didn't say anything about it being a round robin. They don't even have Trujillo in there as like the end. So it's just super confusing. I find it hard to believe that I'm the only one that's confused by that. It's possible. So if that is true and other people comprehend it, like, please comment and let me know, because I'm genuinely, like, still a little bit confused about exactly how this is going to work. I don't even think they said the matchups for the next round of the tournament. But anyway, yeah, this was a crazy episode. Was super impressed. Super impressed with this fight. I'm going to break down the other two, but I have to cut this video, unfortunately.